Hi guys, it's Lanikia. I'm coming to you again with season 8. Oh, I don't know what. Anyways, with Basketball Wives that came on tonight. I think it's episode 7. So we pick up where we left off with Jen and Evelyn in the kitchen, and they make up. I don't know why they wasted a minute of that, but they end up like they did last week. They end up making up. So while they're at the top making up, the girls at the bottom like Jackie, Phoebe, what happened to Vanessa? Jackie, Phoebe, Kristen, all of them, Malaysia, they're like, oh my gosh, I bet they're throwing stuff up there. But no, they're making up. And so then we see that they tell them to come and eat. So they come upstairs to eat. And she tells Jackie and Malaysia that she did make up with Jen because Jackie says, Malaysia tells Evelyn, it looks like you've been crying, and she explains that it was emotional. And she does let them know she made up with Jen. She forgives her and everything. She just wants it to be over. And I told, like I said last week, Evelyn just wanted an apology from Jen so that they can move on, so she can forgive her and they can move on and be friends because she does love her friend. She just wanted to move on, and you could tell because they started hanging right out as soon as she got the apology and everything. So then we see where Malaysia says, she says with Evelyn and Jen making up, now she has to add befriending Jen to her plate, and I'm like, why? Why is it that because Evelyn and Jen make up that you feel like you have to add that to your plate where you have to befriend Jen because you're an adult? And that's why I say Malaysia has no storyline. And I know I know a lot of people like Malaysia and everything, but to me, she's always been a follower. And the fact that she's like, well, Evelyn made up with Jen. Now I have to add that befriending her to, okay. Anyways, so they take bike rides. It's Shawnee, OG, Evelyn, Jackie, and if it's somebody else, I don't remember. But they go on this bike ride and everything. And Dominique goes. And then, oh, wait, I'm sorry. It's Jen, Shawnee, Jen, Shawnee, Evelyn, Jackie, and OG. And then on the other group that went like go-kart racing or some kind of car racing, it's Kristen, Dominique, Malaysia, and Phoebe. Anyway, so there's 2 separate groups. So the group with Shawnee, they're going around just talking and everything, and they're having a good time. And then OG brings up the fact that Malaysia did a drive-by on her where Malaysia's just like, hey, Byron said you about the ammunition. He didn't give you that for ammunition. And then it's like, okay, I got to go. I can't talk or whatever, which that is kind of messed up to do. Like, if you say something to someone, be able to stand there and take, whatever they give back to you. But she didn't do that. She just kind of dropped it off and kept it moving. And so OJ is feeling some type of way about that. So they're just like, oh, OJ, it was such a lovely time, and here you go bringing up this mess again. And then Jen talks, and she says that she feels like that she and Malaysia should both apologize to each other. That she feels like Malaysia owes her an apology for throwing the table and everything. Which, yeah, I mean, I could see that because you shouldn't let anyone make you so upset where you're in a foreign country and you throw a table. Like, you shouldn't let anyone make you that upset. Like, if she's lying on you, then don't talk to her. Like, completely ignore her. But to throw a table and all that. But when you do things to people, you can't draw your own consequences. Like, you can't tell someone how to react or, when you do something to them. So it is what it is, Jen. I don't think feeling like you should get an apology is the way to go with that. Like, I feel like she should be like, oh, well, I'm going to apologize. And if she gives me one back for throwing that table, that would be great. But don't feel like y'all are equal on this because she threw a table at you. That's not, what you did is way worse. So yeah, that's where I am with Jen on that. So then And even Shani said that. She was like, this is not 50-50. This is not equal. But then OG feels like Malaysia. And so then when they talk about this, about how OG feels like Jen was able to throw, Malaysia's able to throw a table. Evelyn is able to throw a drink. But if OG says something, everyone reprimands her. So it's not equal. Like, they get away with all kinds of stuff, and she can't get away with any of that because they all come down on her. And it's probably because they really don't like OG. And they're because this group is very superficial. And I remember when Tammy first came on, and you know how Tammy felt isolated in the group, and it wasn't until Tammy started stepping up her game as far as her hair and her makeup and her dressing and all of that, that they really brought Tammy into the fold with them. And now Tammy, like, she just keeps it moving and keeps it going. So yeah. So then we see that Malay, like, while they're having this conversation, they go over to the other girls, and we see that Malaysia feels like she can't. They ask Malaysia, does she think she can forgive Jen? And she says no, she does not feel like she can forgive Jen, because what Jen did was, she just feels really disrespected, and she felt like a puppet, and she felt used. So she doesn't want a friendship with Jen. She wants Jen not to know, like, just go on like you don't know I exist. And like, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. And I think the girls in the group, sometimes they try to make someone be friends again, or be like, sometimes, you know how you get sometimes where you see somebody, maybe you've had a little thing with them as far as a tiff or something with them. Well, like, just because you see them and you're in the same group or function, that doesn't mean you have to like them. You can know how to go to dinner and be cordial and all that. Hello, go and have your seat. You know what I mean? So I don't understand, like, in this group, why they feel like everyone has to be friends, because we know in real life y'all probably don't even hang out with each other until it's time to film the show. Y'all don't even see each other like that. So anyways, we see that Cece, okay, so then they go to Cece planning her wedding, and she's 48. Cece looks good for 48, but Cece is planning her wedding, and her mom is there, and her man of honor, Ross, is there, and she's just telling them about, everything going on with Byron and his kids, and they pretty much are saying like what everyone else is saying, like, y'all need to work that out, y'all need to get that together, and everything. So that's what, and Cece's like, she heard it different when they told her that. But at the end of the day, Cece can't do, like, I honestly think it's going to take Byron to make this right. And because I don't think it's just that they don't like Cece or feel like she's called. I think it's because it's not their mom. Whatever happened, if he left their mom, anyways, he's not with their mom any longer, and I think that is the main issue. And I don't think it mattered who the woman he brought in was. They were still gonna have an issue with that. But I'm just like, y'all are grown, y'all are adults. Like, get over it. Like, you're an adult. If he wants to be with this woman, get over it, because we can clearly see. I feel like Byron doesn't even like Kristen, but like he I don't know, but that's later on in the episode. So anyway, so we see she just tried on the dresses and stuff, and she looked really pretty in one of the dresses that she tried on. So then we see Kristen, she lets them know that Kristen and London won't be there, which means that his children won't be there. And so that's when they tell her she has to make it right. Cece, as far as Ross and her mom were telling her that. So then Jen and Dominique and OG meet up. And Dominique just says how she likes the other girls or whatever. She likes Malaysia and everything. And Jen and OG are just like, okay, you could like them, but they're not my cup of tea. And I'm like, that's the adult move. Like, why is it that if one of your friends likes another friend in these groups, then it's just like, oh my gosh, if I don't like them, you're not supposed to like them. And they're like, that's not adult. So yeah, I like the fact that Dominique was just saying, yeah, I know y'all might have issues with them, but I like them. And I like the fact that they were like, okay, well, you can like them, like her, but we have an issue with her or whatever, because that's an adult thing to do. So then we see Shawnee, Malaysia, Jackie, and Evelyn are talking. And Ev lets Malaysia know that Jen feels like she needs an apology. And Malaysia is like, for what? And she was like, because you threw that table at her. And Malaysia did admit, yeah, I was wrong for that. So I should probably apologize for throwing that table at her. So I'm glad to see Malaysia admit to that part of it. And so she was like, I can give her an apology for that. But that's about all Malaysia feels like she should get her an apology for. And I can understand that. But she just feels like Evelyn, you just made up with Jen this morning and you're already speaking for her. And again, Evelyn has more history with Jen. Like, I don't understand what these girls don't understand. It's like Evelyn has more history with Jen. She was just you, like, if she was talking to you a lot and all that little stuff she was doing earlier where y'all were talking about avoiding them like a plague on the last episode and all that. All Evelyn was doing was being a mean girl, and she brought you along because she knew you didn't like the person equally. So it's like two people who maybe wouldn't even really speak to each other like that. Like, y'all have a kind of a friendship, but y'all became closer because y'all have a mutual dislike of one friend. Well, one of them was just waiting on an apology so that she could be friends with her again. So, like, you were like, Evelyn was never gonna be on your side 100% because she was just waiting on Jen to give her the apology or speak the truth, and they could be friends again. And so now I feel like Malaysia is feeling like um, well, I mean, it does kind of look like Evelyn is fake, but you got to remember their 20-year friendship, whatever that has to do with it, because if people do you wrong, I don't care how long you've been friends. But their 20-year friendship, I mean, it is what it is. Evelyn wanted to be friends with her again, and she is going to speak for Jennifer towards you because now she's like, she wants you to be friends with her too, or at least forgive her. Um, so then we see where they talk about OG, and she says that OG feels like Malaysia was wrong for the way she approached her. And Malaysia, I mean, I don't understand what Malaysia's problem with OG was. It was like I remember when they met or whatever, but they both were petty. So it's like, get over it already. Like, get over it already. So anyways, so OG, they come together for dinner, and Phoebe is acting like such a child. Like, she doesn't like anything that was cooked. She's acting like a real brat. So anyways, they come to dinner, and OG prays, and they think she says Jackie Christie in her prayer, but she's saying Jesus Christ. She prays in her language. I don't want to get it wrong, because I didn't hear the language they said she was going to pray in, but I thought it was really nice. So she gives the prayer for the dinner, and then OG gets right to it, because, and I like that about OG. I know they're all like, oh my gosh, we were having a good moment, we just sitting down to eat or whatever, and you just gave this beautiful prayer, and here you go, OG, right to it. I like that about OG, because they sit there fake acting like everything's okay when it's not okay. So if you have an issue with somebody, bring that to the table so that you can dead it, instead of like lingering. Oh, like we see these lingering where they have issues with someone, but they're fake and won't address the issue or whatever. So it lingers for all these episodes, and what we see is episodes. So it just lingers on and on to the next event they see each other in the next event. I like the fact that OG just puts it all on the table. So she tells, she says that Cece did tell her about Byron, and they just feels like that is more proof that they put the battery in the back. Because she said Byron got up, and Cece was like, oh, and he's not. Sometimes when you tell your friend something, don't repeat it. That's all it is to it. Like, I've told a friend something that if they repeated it, it wasn't that big of a deal, because I don't mind saying what I said again. But it does make you look at that person like, I told you something in confidence and you ran and repeated this. So no, I'm not messing with you anymore. or whatever. So OG talks to Kristen about it, and then her and Malaysia. So they're all talking about it, and they're like, so they're telling her that that Cece used you to do her dirty work or whatever. And I still don't. I still do not believe that. I don't believe that. I think Cece told OG something, and OG ran her mouth when she got into an argument with Kristen. She ran her mouth. It wasn't a secret in their family. I don't understand why he's so hurt about it. It wasn't that big of a secret, but that's what it was. She ran her mouth and she shouldn't have said anything, but she did, and it is what it is. She said it now. So then we see where they're all like, you should never talk about family and all this. And OG is just like, this girl has said some pretty bad stuff about my guy, and nobody says anything about that. But the fact that I say something, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. And I understand where she's coming from in that, because I feel like Kristen, she throws a rock and then hides her hands, because I feel like this whole mess with Cece and Evelyn and all them got started because of Kristen, because she went back and she didn't tell the whole truth. And that's what I don't like about Kristen. I feel like she does not tell the whole truth of what's going on. So anyways, so OG's just like, okay, so what, now we're even. You hurt me. I hurt you. We're even. And they're looking like, that's not even or whatever. But OG is like, okay, we're going to both stop being negative then and move on. And and Christian's just like, okay. I can't stand her, because it's like she plays the victim so much, and it just makes me sick. It's like, you said some bad things too. If Thomas is that hurt, then he needs to talk to his dad. And honestly, if you hadn't got on this show just talking and bad mouthing Cece, like running with something that was said bad about Cece, because secretly you never liked her anyways. Had you not got on the show doing that, their relationship might not be as strained as it is. So if you're upset about Thomas not like Byron and Thomas and London and all them having a strained relationship, blame yourself, because you added to that in a major way as well. Because we'll talk about that later with Byron. I'm sorry, I'm getting carried away. I just can't stand Kristen, because I feel like she starts a lot of stuff and then she wants to run and play the victim. And I think with somebody like OG, she puts it all out on the table, and you're not gonna, and it comes across as like she's bullying, even though she's not. She's just being very direct with you. So then we let that go. So then we see where they're going to watch Phoebe's video, because she says, oh, I have a surprise, I have a video. So they get up and they go and watch it or something, and it's great because it broke the tension that was there. And before they go watch it, Jen pulls OG to the side, because Jen and OG have become friends, and she tells her, well, I'm just going to tell you that Phoebe has been talking about you because of the whole cheap clothing. Something like that. It's something stupid. Just stupid. Anyway, so she shows OG the little video where Phoebe was talking about people with fake clothes, not cheap clothes, fake clothes and all that. And OG being OG, she gonna bring it to you. If she hears something about her, she's bringing it to you. And I hate that the girls, when they're confronted by OG, they always act like she's out of line. And because I'm like that, like if I hear something, if I care enough, I'm bringing that directly to you. But it's really frustrating when you deal with someone who wants to act like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like Phoebe, like you're sitting there lying, and even Evelyn was like, yeah, Phoebe not really telling the truth about this, but Evelyn doesn't like OG, so she won't say anything. But they know that Phoebe was talking about OG when she did it. But OG was like, you can catch this fade, girl. And they were like, huh? Because OG was like, I'll put hands on you. I could kill you, but I'm not going to do that or whatever. And I don't see I was like, I could see where people would be like, oh my gosh, she's talking about killing somebody. Oh, I'm out of it. They were all acting like they were just so appalled and shocked. And I'm like, when y'all are upset with each other, y'all have said horrible things when y'all are fighting, when you're mad, and when each other, when they're throwing tables and when they're doing all that, they have said these type of things. But because OG is calm, cool, and collected while she's saying it, looking directly at you, telling you this, all of a sudden, nah, Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And that's what I hate about, that's what annoys me sometimes about this show. Because if it was one of those other girls saying it to somebody that they did not like, then they would not have felt that way. That's all I'm saying. Was OG right for saying it? No, she didn't have to go that far. She didn't have to go that far, but I'm not mad at her for saying it because she pretty much said, if you got something to say, catch this fade. Let me make an example out of you, which is what she said. And it is what it is. And everyone's, and Phoebe's like, she's just she thinks she's had won because she's got an aggression. But the truth of the matter is, nobody comes to OG that way. No one approaches her, like, they don't bully her like they bully Cece because they know better. And that's just the truth of the matter. And then, like, Evelyn was in the confessional, put your panties on and play football, but you don't say that to her. And that's what I can't stand that. All of y'all are bullies. But anytime y'all get a girl in the group who you're not going to bully, you get in the confessionals and talk about her. But when you're one-on-one with her, you say nothing. And that's earlier, Evelyn did tell OG to butt. She should just butt out. She's in Family Matters and all that kind of stuff. And Shani even said something along those lines. And I like the OG's phrasing where she was like, yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from. I understand that. Or whatever, but Cece is my friend. And Kristen was like, are you sure she's not saying anything? Kristen, if Cece is saying something about OG, you don't know, because you and Cece do not talk. So, like, stop it. Stop it. But anyways, that would happen a little earlier when they were at the dinner. I forgot to mention that, but it was nothing. So, and then anyways, so then we see Byron, and so they played a video or whatever, and it's not like the video is nothing. And then they start having a twerk off, and Malaysia wins because she does the splits and all that. So she wins the $100. So then we see Byron and Cece are talking. And they're talking about the wedding and how they're going to plan and everything. And Byron is just, I think Byron, he pretty much said it. He said, listen, it's me and you. He was talking to Cece. He said, it's me and you. F everybody else. That's how he feels. I feel like he's like that even with his kids. If you don't like her, okay, you don't like her, but at some point, you have raised your children. These are grown children. If you don't like who your dad picks and that makes you not want to be around him, not want to come to his wedding, I guess he feels like, okay, then you don't have to come. But at the end of the day, I'm picking her because at the end of he's going to be with her. Like, and I feel like children sometimes they expect and want too much of their parents. Like, let your dad be happy. You might not like her and you might be upset that he's no longer with your mom. But if this is the woman that he says is making him happy and he wants to marry her, grow up, be an adult. Like, you're an adult, be an adult, support his decision and keep it moving. Because I don't think Byron likes Kristen, but he still tried to reach out with the grandchild, even though she was all on TV lying, saying that he wasn't trying to reach out and everything, which we found out that was not the case. And that's why I think she was crying last week. But anyways, so he just pretty much told Cece, it's me and you, and he doesn't care. And so I'm with that. I'm like, when you have raised your children, it is what it is. Yes, it would be nice if you had a relationship with your adult children and you fixed it and everything was all copacetic and it was all beautiful. But sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes grown adult kids need to suck it up and live their own lives and allow you to live your own lives. And even if they don't like it, support your dad and move on. Go back home to your wife or your husband or whoever it is. But Cece is like, that bothers her because she says they don't understand that there's nothing she can do. And you could clearly tell with the conversations Byron has with Cece, she does not run that. He runs that. He runs how his emotions are, and she stands by him in that. And it might frustrate the other ones because they feel like maybe she should say something, but this is a grown man. This is a grown man. She can give her opinion or whatever, but you don't have to know what she says to him behind closed doors. She doesn't have to tell you that. And that kills me too. But anyways, so that's what it is. And she says that the girls are all, she tells Byron that the girls are all thinking about ammunition. He was like, I don't know where that came from. He was like, I told Malaysia that he wanted his relationship with his son, and that was not a big deal, that the if he was his son or not. And Byron keeps saying the exact same thing over and over. So let's move on. So then so then we see that the ladies have come back into town, and they should start off with Kristen with and she's just talking to Thomas, and she's telling him, and you find out that he doesn't really like Cece, and I guess he feels like he can't go to the wedding because he would object. Like, sir, stop it. You're an adult man. Your daddy that doesn't seem to like your wife. He's not objecting. You could go to that wedding, support your dad. You don't have to support Cece, but support your dad, and then go back home with your wife and your child. Like, stop being so childish. That's just how I feel about it. Like, I can't stand to see grown adult kids try to dictate their parents' life when you have your whole life going on over here, but you want to dictate what your parent has. Like, they've raised you. You're an adult now. Go on about your way. Mind your business. You can still have a relationship with your father and everything, but mind your business. And then Kristen was like, "Are you doing this because of me and how I feel?" No, he's not. Like, I think a part of it, he said no, but I think a part of it is. But a part of this is because Byron is no longer with his mom, and that's just the honest truth. Byron is not with his mom anymore, and they feel some type of way about that. Grow up. So then, well, that's all I got. But anyways, because it was a lot that came on after that. So they showed so OG and CC meet up with OG, CC, and Byron meet up, and OG is pretty much telling them that the girls are saying that they're putting a battery in her back, and they're telling her to confront, and she's like, and that is not the case. She was like, I tell the truth and the whole truth or whatever. And Byron is like, I'm the same way. And Cece was like, y'all two are very much alike. And maybe that's why y'all get along. But Byron, they all agree that no, they did not tell OG to use that against Kristen. What OG said to Kristen was OG's own way of saying it. Now, the way they did the clip earlier, they made it seem like OG was saying something that Kristen told her, but I still don't believe that. And even like when Evelyn was talking to her, she said sometimes your friend tells you things that don't mean you go back and tell what your friend's told. Because that doesn't mean that your friend is telling you to go out and use that against the person that you don't like. And so anyways, so they just come to the resolution that it is what it is. They're not upset with OG about saying it because it was already out there, and they're not, and they're like, we're not using you to be our mouthpiece or or anything. And OG was like, I don't feel like you are. Anyways, they have a really close friendship and everything. But then they showed scenes from the rest of the season, and the rest of the season should be good because you start seeing people who you didn't think had issues start having issues. You see Jen start saying that she never said that about Shanice. It's a mess. But anyways, that was Basketball Wives. I hope you guys enjoy. Have a great night.